What's up, guys? I got the Outlander Sport jacked up behind me because I got this in the mail today. O2 sensor. That is the upstream, which is the front one. O2 sensor, as you guys probably already know, the catalytic converters on these get stolen all the time. It is horrible. People are terrible. So your best bet, outside of getting some sort of preventative measure, if yours has not been stolen already, is to replace it after they have been stolen with just eBay stuff. So you can get a catalytic converter for a Lancer for like 130 something bucks, which is really not bad, especially given the cost of the stock cat, which is like 1,000 plus, maybe double that. I forget. It's something crazy. I didn't even consider it, and I'm pretty sure insurance won't even cover an OEM one. So the best bet is to go with the eBay stuff, which I threw in there. And so they stole my cat. The front O2 sensor, the upstream one that I just picked up, is not even part of the cat. Usually when they cut them out, it's on the pipe in front of them, but the people who stole mine were kind enough to cut my wires, which I don't know if you can see. I tried to splice together to salvage, because a OEM O2 sensor is not cheap either. They're a couple $100. But with that being said, I'm still getting a code for it for the heater circuit. So I assume the heater circuit's shorted out. All my connections are fine. They're all crimp connections. And yeah, so I'm still getting that heater code fault. I replaced the O2 sensor that they obviously took with the cat as well. No codes for that, so the eBay one seems to work fine. I'm gonna throw the eBay upstream sensor in as well. I'll put a part number for you guys in the description. I'm pretty sure that this is the part number, but I'll double check that with the Mitsubishi one and post it later on. It's going to involve pulling your carpet up a little bit in the front, so I'm going to find where this guy plugs in and just show you where it is on the exhaust pipe, just in case you don't know. So let's get to that. First things first, jack up your car. Use a jack stand. Be safe. You don't have to take the wheel off or anything. You should have pretty good access. Something I recommend that you pick up: A, penetrating fluid. O2 sensors can be a bitch and a half to get off. And B, these are awesome. There's a couple different variations of these. This is a 1/2-inch drive, O2 socket wrench or whatever. These are awesome. The slit in it allows you to use this style socket and slip it over the wires. Okay, I'm gonna warn you, do not put this on the impact gun. It is offset. It will create a shit ton of inertia, or I don't know if that's the right word, centrifugal force, and it will go fucking flying far. It could damage something. It could hit you in the face and hurt you. It could just be lost forever. Don't do it. Use this or a breaker bar. With that being said, I might use this, okay? But I don't make good decisions. You should. I'm gonna try this first, but sometimes they're just really in there. But I am not suggesting that you throw it on the Milwaukee. Don't do it, unless you have to. So mine should hopefully be loose, because I spliced it all back together and screwed it into the pipe on the Aftermarket cat. So this is the Aftermarket cat, by the way. It doesn't look too bad. It does not look stock, so you have a chance of them seeing this and just leaving your car alone. You could also throw your car at some VCs and make it too low as a defense mechanism for them to actually get to. This is a aftermarket catalytic converter for a Lancer, which has a slip fit and a little bracket. This is the pipe that goes back to the muffler on the Outlander Sport. There used to be a 2-bolt flange here. I cut it off, and this pipe very conveniently fits in here. And yeah, that's going to save you quite a bit of money to be able to use this Lancer cat. So I just suggest you do that. The only thing that sucks is that this pipe is just ever so slightly too small to fit in here and be super tight with just this clamp. You can fill this with like some sort of exhaust putty or a wrap or something like that and then clamp it down. Here is your downstream O2 sensor. It's in the back of the cat. The bung is literally in the catalytic converter itself. Your front upstream O2 sensor is here. It's in front of the cat. It comes to a little grommet, which I pulled out right here, and then that goes into the floor of the car. And then I'll show you under the passenger carpet how we can connect that back with the new one. So let me get this one pulled out. Okay. This is how I orientated it to get it off. All right, I got this unscrewed. Keep in mind, if you're preserving this, I'm replacing mine. I actually was just banging that around by accident, but don't bang this around if you want to. Keep it, they're pretty sensitive. Also, you may want to do the unplugging of it first so you don't twist these wires up too bad when you're unscrewing it. Mine, it didn't really matter because I'm replacing this. But let's pop up to the top and I will show you where this wire goes in the cabin. All right, so I just pulled the floor mat out. We are in the passenger side front seat foot area. Just grab a Phillips head. There is one screw here. You could probably get away with not taking this out, but we're just gonna go ahead and do that so I can pull this plastic safely without cracking anything. And then we're gonna pull this carpet back. I'm fairly sure, just judging by what I saw underneath, that this is where it's gonna be. I'm doing this not live per se, but I'm figuring this out as I go along. So let me just put this down. And boom, so it is right under here. Hopefully you guys can see. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say definitely pull that screw out of the plastic. Looks like the connector itself is mounted on a little tab. Hard to see, but I can't really move it from that spot. So go ahead and reach under here, and I'm gonna get a light on here for you, and then we'll get that disconnected. So here it is with a light, and there is your clip. It actually looks like it has a little safety tab. So this is how it operates. You're just gonna flick it up, then you can depress here with your screwdriver or with your finger while just applying pressure downwards on this. It's gonna pop right out. Sorry for my finger there. So it looks like we have 6 prongs, oval type connector. This looks to be identical to me, so I think we're good to go. This is the front O2 sensor. I went ahead and screwed it in. As you can see, my wires are not super twisted and tight. What I did was I fed the wires up over the exhaust pipe. Here is the hole that it's gonna go in. So we're out on that side. As you are turning this in, tightening it with your other hand, every so often, make sure you flip this wire so that you don't get all twisted there, because it will become extremely twisted up and tight and you risk breakage down the line. And it's not the funnest job in the world, so you don't want to have to do it again. But we are fairly tight. It's tight enough to the point where it's run all the way down just by hand. I have not torqued it yet. There is anti-seize on most O2 sensors that you will get already. If there's not, for whatever reason, make sure you apply a little bit of anti-seize. You'll thank yourself if you ever have to do this again. Now, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna feed this up through. Just enough. You're not gonna be able to feed it all the way through. We're gonna have to go find it. And then we're gonna go ahead and take advantage of these cable management little things here. So I'm just gonna slip those in there so that we are safe. This wire does not get melted or touch the ground or anything like that. And then we'll pull this the rest of the way through, and then we'll set the grommet. So we're gonna have to come under here one more time, but let's go back up into the top part. You're not gonna be able to feed it all the way through. We're gonna have to go find it, and then we're gonna go. And we got this sticking out. That's where we pushed it through, and I'm just gonna gently pull this the rest of the way through. And just gonna kind of go by feel here. Also, I pulled this off of its little clip, which is right there. Sorry for it not focusing. That makes it a little easier. So we're just gonna plug this back in, push this yellow thing back down, and try to set it back on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that with 2 hands. All right, so we're plugged back in. As you can see, that clip sits in that little track, if you will. So just put that back in there for good measure, and then we're gonna go ahead and it looks like there's a little track here as well. Cable management is always good. So we're gonna go ahead and just set that in there. Everything is nice and out of the way. We're gonna shove our carpet back. We're gonna tuck this under, which is not easy with one hand. I'm gonna finish that with 2 hands, and then we're just gonna throw our screw back in, and then we're gonna go torque down the bottom and push that grommet in. All right, we are back under here. I'm just gonna go ahead and slip this through. Make sure your wire is through here. Make sure it's not hanging down too low. Adjust it as needed, and then you're just gonna torque down your sensor. You don't have to kill it, but pretty tight. And you are good to go. Your check engine code should clear itself in a few run cycles or key on and offs. I don't know how many for Mitsubishi. Or you could go ahead and clear it with a tool, and you should be all set. So hopefully you don't ever have your catalytic converter stolen, and you don't have to do this. And hopefully you're just watching this because you need to replace it. All right, and just driving home, and I did a couple of key cycles